Welcome back to another edition of the Pagcast. I'm your host, Michael Pagani, joined alongside Shattuck St. Mary's forward, Zach Nehring. Zach, welcome to the Pagcast. Thank you again for coming on.
I appreciate you having me.
So, as I like to do, to open up my interviews here, I always like to ask the guests how they've been doing recently. So, Zach, how have you been doing recently?
It's been great. We're all towards the end of the school year, so just kind of off-season training and whatnot, getting ready for finals. So it's been great.
How has school gone for you this year?
Senior year, always trying to make the most out of it. The season was great. We got the national championship, and that was unbelievable. It's just been awesome. Truly a year to remember for sure.
And that's always nice winning that national championship in your final year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And as someone, I was a senior in high school and my senior year was during the pandemic. So I never really got to experience, to have a prom, to have a real in-person graduation. So I'm happy that you get to experience that though.
No, yeah, that's too bad. COVID, it was terrible on a lot of kids, but I was fortunate enough to have another couple years at high school. So it's been great.
And to cap it off with a natty chip.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now that your season is over, what are you focusing on this off season?
Just getting better every day, making the most out of every single moment with my buddies before we graduate, and just getting ready for the combine. I think that's up next for me. So just getting prepared for that, and just having fun every day.
And getting into a bit of your story, here, was there a player growing up who you wanted to model your game after?
Growing up, I loved Crosby and Ovechkin. Those were kind of my guys, just around my birth year. Love watching them, but I don't can't really say I model my game after them. But they're great players to watch for sure.
It's so crazy to think that this NHL playoffs didn't feature either of them.
I know it's crazy. It was like first time since I don't even know, like 14 years or something like that. Crazy, but
Like through our lifetime,
oh
we've
yeah,
always seen Crosby and Ovechkin in the playoffs. It's always been Pens and Caps in either round one or round two.
oh yeah. I was a Caps fan, so they usually lost to the Penguins, but it's great watching them play. They compete every time.
Oh, absolutely. And the one time when the Capitals did break through, we all know what happened.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And it was
I
so
remember that like
oh,
it was
sorry.
yesterday.
Yeah, and it was so funny seeing the celebration of Ovechkin, him swimming in the fountain.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, it's a perfect way to celebrate.
Oh yeah, it's great watching that stuff. That's what they're trying to do their whole life, so it's awesome to see him accomplish that for sure. It's awesome.
How did you become a Capitals fan?
I honestly don't know. Growing up in North Dakota, there's not a team down there. We're close to the Wild, so just watching pretty much anyone. But Ovi just the way he scores goals, it kind of drew me to watch them, and I got out to see some games and practices, and I met some of the guys. So it was just great. So I think that's kind of it.
He is electrifying.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Uh, as part of me trying to I guess find out more about your story, who influenced you to get into hockey?
I would say my dad. He played growing up, and I think since I turned two, he started putting up a outdoor rink in my backyard, and that's kind of where my passion for the game took off. Just playing every night with your buddies after school. It's the best thing a kid could want.
It's always the ODR.
Always, always.
And I'm sure that you and your buddies, growing up would spend hours out there.
Oh yeah, I like 6 hours every night for sure. It's awesome. Time flies for sure. I wish I could go back.
You like you mentioned you're from North Dakota. Did you go to a lot of Fighting Hawks games?
Oh yeah, I went there almost every weekend. The rink's unbelievable. I think I was there. They had Kajula, all those guys, Besser. So they were fun to watch for sure.
And that was like their prime years.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was probably the best years they've ever had. So I was lucky enough to be able to see that in person and in that atmosphere of that rink. So it was something special.
So you mentioned that you're a Caps fan. Are you a fan of any other like professional teams? That not necessarily in the NHL, but other leagues?
Yeah, I'm not too much a fan of anyone in particular. In my free time, I love watching the NBA and baseball, but don't really have a favorite. Just I love turning on a game and just watching them.
Well, I mean, it's the best time to watch the NBA and NHL. Both are in their
I
playoffs.
know, so it's super exciting for sure. Good way to pass time.
You played with Shaddocks your entire life. How did they help with your development?
I mean, it's unbelievable the things that they've done for me just as a person, like with my character. Off the ice is huge. Academics, but on the ice, like training every single day with the best kids around you. The coaches, unbelievable. Like they're all different. They all have their own styles, but there's so much to learn from them. And I mean, I'm super lucky and grateful I had that opportunity, and it's just been probably the best 4 years of my life. So happy for that.
Have you seen much roster turnover from year to year? Are you with the same kind of group of guys throughout, your 4 or 5 years there?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much the same little group of kids. COVID definitely have a impact on that. We lost a lot of guys from that, and just some kids develop faster than others. So I mean that can change and be a factor. But um, I mean I have this kid, my roommate this year. I've been with him for 4 years. So I mean I love the guys, and it's great to get to know them over the last couple of years.
It's really a tight knit community.
Oh yeah, for sure, for
And it's
sure.
nice that you're able to grow through, kind of these adversity struggles, if you want, with the pandemic, like you have with your roommate through your entire 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. All the kids they've all been through the same thing pretty much. So if you're struggling, I mean, you can ask for help from pretty much anyone on campus. I mean, they all come in around ninth grade, so 14, it's not easy. So it's great to kind of go through that stuff with someone else.
How did you adapt your game due to the pandemic?
I mean, it's definitely hard. You're coming into the rink like 10, 15 minutes before you start. Sometimes we're getting dressed on the bus. So I mean, it's pretty crazy stuff. You just kind of got to push through and persevere. So it wasn't easy, but it's definitely a learning curve for sure.
What do you remember from the world shutting down?
I mean, probably just at first. I mean, no one really knew what was happening. You see the NBA shuts down, and then we're wondering if hockey's next. And I mean, it kind of turned out that way. You're locked up at home for a couple months, and you're just trying to figure out how you can get better. And you're just enjoying time with the buddies on video games and stuff. So I mean, it was definitely fun at times, but I mean, you obviously want to get back out there on the ice.
What video games do you play? Because I'm a big like MLB, like sport video games. I
Oh
love
yeah.
Chell.
Oh,
Uh,
love Chell.
yeah,
Love
you're a
Chell.
big Chell
That's my
guy.
that's my favorite for sure.
Yeah, does the team rip that then? You must have some rivalries going, right?
Oh yeah, we got some games every night in the dorm, so it gets pretty intense.
Yeah, I remember like when COVID happened, right? In my first year of university, there were still kind of restrictions. The amount of noise complaints I got, it was insane. I was just ripping shell with the boys.
Oh,
and
that's
and my and
awesome.
like the people living on my floor were like, buddy, you gotta quiet down. I'm like, listen, it's not me, it's my teammates that are throwing muffins up the middle of the ice. All
Oh
right.
yeah, they don't get it. They don't get it.
They don't get it, right? They're not in my shoes. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Teal, like, fuck, get your head out of your ass. And then
That's
and the next thing you
awesome.
know, I get a knock on my door, like, yeah, all right, sorry.
That's great. That's how
Yeah.
it goes though.
Well, yeah, I'm like, dude, like, stop suing the team here. Let's go.
Oh yeah.
When you applied to play for Shaddocks, were you aware of the talent they had developed and like the NHL players that come through that program?
Yeah, I mean hearing about it for the first time, like Crosby, McKinnon, all those guys that went through there, and just thinking that you could maybe be one of those guys. It's super exciting. And just coming in, like you're surrounded by all the best like prospects in your age, and it's super exciting and amazing to just compete with them every single day. So I mean, I was pumped to find out I got accepted, and I mean it was awesome.
And it must lend some credibility, right, to the program as someone who
Oh
was
yeah,
first
for
applying.
sure.
They're like, oh my God, they just trained Crosby McKinnon. Like, where do I sign?
No, yeah, I mean, when I found out I got accepted, I told my parents I was going no matter what, and that was kind of it.
How come you decided to apply to Shaddocks and not wait for other schools or to go into like the USHL route?
Yeah, I mean, just growing up in North Dakota, especially in Minot where I'm from, there's not too much hockey going on that's like high level compared to just around AAA hockey around the U.S. And I mean, I toured some other schools around going into high school. And I mean, Shattuck, I found out I was accepted. I told my parents I was going right away. They didn't have too
Yeah.
much of a choice, but I'm super fortunate it worked out.
You had 85 points this year. How were you able to balance the highs and lows of the season?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's kind of just something you learn over the course of the years, just maturing and knowing not every game is going to go your way, and you just got to kind of keep pushing, and just playing your way, and it'll come to you.
You had 39 goals this year. What would be your go-to goal song? It might not feel like it, but spring's right around the corner. Know how you can tell? Golfers are hitting the links, and we have some tournaments to talk about. And if you want to do more than just talk, put your money where your mouth is. Get in on all the tee to green action with DraftKings Sportsbook. From Thursday's opening round through the closing round Sunday, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered with tournament props, live betting, odds boosts, and so much more. If you've never bet on golf before, it's easier than you think. Just pick something simple like a golfer to win the tourney and make your pick. It's just that easy. Here's something special for first timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
My go-to goal song. I honestly don't even know. Maybe the Bruins goal horn. That's a pretty good one
I have
before
to
it's
agree with that one. That one gets the crowd pumping. We're going to listen to it 39 times, right? So you
oh
got to make sure
yeah.
it's a good one.
No, yeah, for sure. I'd probably have to put a little more thought into it, but that's just kind of the first one I thought of.
Your coach, Tom Ward, had a stint in the NHL. How much experience does he bring to the locker room?
I mean, so much. I mean, before this year, I've only heard stories, and they've all been crazy. And just having that experience from him and him mentoring me every single day. I mean, he's not afraid to let you know what you're doing wrong and what you need to be better at. And I think that's huge. And he just has so many stories. Like he could talk to me for hours just about Parisi and all those guys he's coached, and just he knows so much about the game. So it's super cool to hear what he has to say.
So you must be a sponge just trying to soak up as much knowledge as possible.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely days where you try to just go on your phone and your notes app and write down what he's saying, or just up as much as you can. So I mean, there's so much you can learn from the guy, and I wish I had more time with him for sure.
You're committed to Western Michigan next year. What played in that decision?
I mean, definitely the recruiting rules was huge. Like you couldn't commit till you're a junior, so that definitely played a factor in that. And I just started looking at schools. I was kind of focused on the NCHC. I mean, growing up watching North Dakota, that's kind of all I watched. And I mean, I went to all those schools, but going into Western, just the coaches and everyone was there. They're so passionate about what they do, and I love that. And they just compete every single day. And I mean, that's what I do on the ice. So I think we're going to be a great fit. I'm super excited.
Have you followed them this season?
Yeah, I followed them quite a bit. I mean, it's tough, with the season going on myself, but I mean, I love watching their games. Their fans are nuts, so it's always a good time.
Sounds like a great atmosphere for you to go into.
Oh yeah, it's unbelievable.
Have you figured out what you would be studying at Western Michigan?
I haven't sat on anything for sure. Leaning towards business or law maybe, but I mean, I still got a year. I think I'm going to Sioux Falls next year in the USHL, so have another year to figure it out. But that's kind of what I'm leaning towards.
Are you like, have you heard from your teammates or even people you've talked with, like what the development jump is going to the USHL?
Oh yeah, I've talked to a couple of guys. I mean, just all the kids that come through Shattuck. I mean, most of them end up in the USHL, and I mean, their common thing they say is it's just faster and everyone's stronger. So I'm not too worried about the jump. I think this summer's training is going to be huge for me and super important. But I mean, I'm excited.
With the draft coming up this summer, what are you going to do to prepare yourself for it?
Um, I mean, my season's already over, so I can't do too much that way on the ice. But just putting in work every single day off the ice, uh, off ice training, working out, working on the fundamentals, but just taking it every day. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime experience, so I'm just trying to take it all in.
What are you going to bring to the team that drafts you?
I think just passion and commitment, and I mean, my compete. I'm going to bring it every single day. Um, I love the game. I love getting better, and they don't have to worry about me taking a game off because I mean I'm always giving it my all every single game.
Just so dialed in right from puck drop.
Oh yeah, you know it.
How do you make sure that the rankings, kind of stay in the back of your mind or that you don't focus on it during your season? Because it could really affect your play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, coming into the season, I didn't even know I was going to be on Central Scouting. So when I found that out, I mean, I was pumped. But I mean, I try not to worry about it. Just kind of take it day by day. And I mean, at the end of the day, you get picked wherever you get picked. You don't have too much say in it. So I mean, just try not to worry about it for sure.
It must have been kind of like a yay, I'm on Central Scouting, and then it's like, all right, like let me do my let me focus on my game, put that to the side.
No, yeah, I mean, you see the rankings. I think they first rank you in around December. So, I mean, you see that number, you're super pumped for that. But I mean, there's still a lot of season left, and you still got to perform. Otherwise, you're gonna drop. So, I mean, it's definitely motivating for sure.
Just got to put it on do not disturb, leave it alone,
I love
don't
that.
notify me until after the draft.
I love that. That's a good way to put it.
Why do you wear the number 8?
You know, I've honestly I've switched my number every single year at Shattuck. I was gonna go with 4 again, but Coach Ward said that was a D number, so I couldn't take that one. And my roommate last year was number 8, so I like that and stuck with it.
And how come you've kind of changed your number every year? Because like when I ask players that question, it seems like they have a consistent I was number 14 throughout minor hockey, and it kind of worked out that way when I went here, and now you just like I'm all over the place with my number.
I mean, honestly, not too superstitious with that stuff. I kind of just go with the flow. I mean, whatever happens, if I need to take a certain number because the guy wants it, I mean, I'm not afraid to switch with them. But I like trying new things for sure.
What is your favorite off ice activity?
Um, Off ice, and probably right now the boys are playing tennis, and I mean, golf's always a good one, but we're getting pretty into tennis right now, so that's kind of taking up a lot of time.
Who's your doubles partner then?
One of my buddies, my roommate didn't want to be partners with me because I was gone one weekend when he was playing and he found a new one. So I mean I get it, but I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, that's a bit tough there, That's
Oh
a
yeah,
low
for sure,
blow. Oh
for
man.
sure. I'll have to
A
let him know.
rift right there. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Um, I mean, you don't have too much time to travel, but I had the opportunity this past summer to go to Mexico, so
Oh,
I'd say
that's
that
nice.
was unbelievable for sure. It was amazing.
Because like I know here in Canada, I've never really had time to travel either, I would say,
Yeah.
but I know that I've been to Ottawa a bunch and that's amazing. They have a lot of museums, so I love museums, keeps
Oh
me
yeah.
busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just a nice, and I as a Canadian, I love the winter. The
Oh,
cold
you
frigid
got it.
winters.
You
Yeah,
got it.
exactly. So, we try to go when it's the winter time. You could
Yeah.
have the huge Rideau Canal, and it's awesome.
No, I'm sure I'll definitely have to check that out if I ever get up to Ottawa.
What's your favorite TV show or even movie?
Uh, I mean, movie probably be the Slapshot series. I mean, love that growing up. It's a classic. Right now I'm super into Suits on Amazon Prime. It's a great one, but don't have too much time to watch that stuff. But I mean, I love watching a good comedy with the boys.
I have the Chiefs jersey. I bought one.
Oh, no way. That's
I don't
awesome.
have it with me though. It's at my dad's house. I'm at my mom's house right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But I have the Chiefs jersey and
That's
it's
awesome.
sick. Yeah.
That's awesome. I need to
So
get.
yeah, I've always worn it to like my university's hockey games because the colors are similar, and I'm like, shit, that's the only thing I have.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I get compliments all the time.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Yeah, I when I saw it in lids, like when I picked it up, I was like, I have to get this. Like, I have to,
Oh yeah.
because it's so iconic.
No, it is for sure. I mean, if I ever see one, I'm definitely gonna pick it up for sure. So,
As we're closing off this interview here, do you have any advice for younger hockey players?
um, I mean, just you gotta work for it every single day. It's not gonna come easy. There's gonna be a lot of times where you might not want to put in the work, but I mean, you gotta do it anyways. But most importantly, you gotta be having fun. I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. Is you gotta be passionate about it and something you gotta want to do. So that's kind
Well,
of it.
I like to thank again Zach Nehring for joining me on today's podcast. Thank you again, Zach.
No, yeah, I appreciate you having me. Have a good one.